There will be something in the Zoho architecture that will solve a problem.
Yeah.
Their business problem. It doesn't matter what it is, because Zoho's product offering is so vast now. And if we don't have a Zoho product, we do. We've got Creator. Creator is good. It's a great tool. It allows non-developers to build actually some really powerful apps and to do some really clever things.
Ever wondered about life after hitting the big 5-0, retirement, or keep grinding for someone else's work? Well, today we have Sean Clerk and Stephen Edmund, a dynamic duo from FlowsEasy, who are here to shake things up.
I think you need to get up every morning with something to go at. So as soon as you stop working, you need to pick something else, or you're going to die quite quickly, I think. Even if you don't physically die, you'll die inside as a person. Sean's secret wish really is that he could have a bunch of coders sitting in front of him, taking the pain away. That's what he really wishes. I wish for that as well, actually.
Join us as we dive into the journey where every experience adds value. Age is just a number and work is a joy if you're passionate. Let's redefine the 50s and beyond, because why settle when you can soar? Hey Sean, hey Stephen, welcome back to our podcast.
Nice to be here.
Thank you so much for joining us here. So, Sean, the first question goes to you. With more than 3 decades of experience, I'm curious to know, how did your journey start? It's quite long time ago. So I just want to know your journey from the early stage to the present.
So I started as an accountant. I trained to be an accountant. We actually worked in the same building, but we didn't know each other at the same time. I was on like 21 or something, 21st floor, and Stephen was on, 10, 12, something like that. And we worked at the same sort of time. We did articles for different companies. And Stephen qualified and I went into IT. So I started my journey then doing some development, originally in Visual Basic. And then I became a sort of operational IT manager of a retail company in Zululand in South Africa, and actually built one of the first Windows point of sale systems on Visual Basic. And we used ISDN and crazy things to move transactions around and things like that. And then it was actually Stephen interviewed me for a job to come to England. And that's how we moved to England, and we joined a construction company that did offsite manufacturing as well. And I was the head of IT there for some years and developed then in Lotus Notes, Visual Basic again, and some other things that we did. And then I did a number of roles in that business, some of them not IT related. And then I moved to become a managing director of a group of companies that was nothing to do with technology. We did rainwater goods, the removal of rainwater from roofs, from big roofs. And then I did that for a few years. And then I started my own consultancy again and went back into IT because I love IT. IT is my home. And I started developing in Python and LAMP and things like that. Probably about 4 years ago, Steve came to see me and said he wanted to start a Zoho business. So he can tell you a little bit about how he got into Zoho. So we started FlowsEasy about 4 years ago. And Creator, we didn't initially start with Creator. We sold CRM and Zoho One. Deluge was not very difficult. If you've come from a programming background, Deluge is quite easy to get your head around. And looked at Creator and thought, maybe this is a bit limiting.
Not our cup of tea.
Not our cup of tea. But then we had a client who had a project, and we actually bought some technology from someone else, but it didn't go well. And after a few months, we decided we're not going to continue with that. And so we said to the client, we'll actually write a solution. And we decided to relook at Creator. And I just decided we've got to make this work. And I think that's some of the best way to approach the Creator product. Is because it's low code, there's some differences between Pro Code and other coding engines. And you've just got to go, there's no other way. I can't go to another system. I can't go to another piece of code. I've just got to make it work. And that challenged us. It challenged us to solve some of the problems that we encountered. And we found solutions. And we think we've built some good products. And as a result, we love Creator. Zoho, in terms of the product offering, not just Creator, but I'm saying the product offering is brilliant. So much so that we just deal with Creator. We don't use any other products ourselves, even in our business. It's just Zoho products. And that's, in part, is quite hard because sometimes you've got to go, I'm so used to dealing with Excel or Word or something else. But it's just a matter of change, and then just dealing with that change and doing it. And Creator for me was no different. And we've built, as I say, we love Creator. It's an awesome product.
That's really great to hear, Sean. So I want to come to this question where I want to know, like, did the word, because like with your experience, I just want to know, like, did the word low code was there when you started your professional journey, or did you come across it in the recent times? And like, how did you come across that low code word, like the platform?
The first time was really when we encountered Creator. I'd never heard of low code before. It was not, Zoho, I'd come across Zoho, but mainly from CRM. And I think years ago, analytics was called reports. Stephen introduced me to Zoho, actually.
Oh.
So I ran a company 10 years ago, a manufacturing business, and we installed Zoho reports. I think CRM, but I can't recall, but definitely reports or analytics. And I'd called Sean around for a meeting. We weren't working together at the time, and showed him Zoho.
Yeah, this was about 10 years ago.
About 10 years ago, yeah. And that was our first inkling of Zoho, really. And then when I contacted Sean about 4 years ago and said, I don't know why I was going to set up a business selling Zoho. So it just came about, really. And we started off with no clients, not a single client, and an idea. And we just rolled, really. So now we have about 50 clients, and it's rolling quite nicely.
That's really great to hear, Stephen. So one question to you, keeping low code aside, since you also have started your professional journey long time ago, how were business operations carried out at that point earlier, and how do you think it's carried out now? How do you think like the technology has played a huge role in carrying out the business operation?
When I started training as an accountant, we wrote all the entries in a book, manual books. So we were writing in general ledgers and journals. But it was a fantastic way to train, to be honest, because you really learned how to balance things. But quite quickly, I was in my first year or second year, and they were introducing PCs into the business, laptops. I think the first laptop was an Acer laptop years ago. And things have changed dramatically over the years. And of course, all we were doing at first was, let's record it in a PC or on a piece of software somewhere. Now it's all about process and flow. So it's changed dramatically over the years. It is about efficiency now, and it's about digitization. Yeah. And in particular, when you're selling Zoho, it's how do we get everything down to one record, one customer account, where everything is related. And this is where Zoho is winning, really, for us.
Great. So coming, as you mentioned, digitization, and FlowsEasy also like specializes in like creating real impact through the adoption of digital transformation. What's the definition of digitization or digital transformation according to you?
For me, it's connecting things together. So whether you're talking email on the one hand, selling transactions on another, manufacturing transactions, support, but it's connecting the transactions together, but also connecting the people together so that if you're a salesman and you're just about to go to see a customer, if I look in the CRM, I want to see that information connected together. Am I walking into a meeting where there's 20 support tickets that are outstanding, and I'm walking into a problem? And you can see that with Zoho in particular. And we're very keen on connecting things together. And we don't even use Excel in our business.
Yeah.
So we're encouraging our customers to get rid of all these other pieces of software for this very reason, really. So digitization is connecting.
I don't know, if I can add to that, the other part of that is the flow. So actually the business, making sure people walk through a business process. And one of the other things which we think is a brilliant opportunity with lots of the Zoho products is automation. So of course, when I'm completing an action or making a transition between one state and another state in a record, or one status and another status, we can do almost anything with an automation. And of course, those go even further with schedules and other things. But I'm saying, that, in terms of digitization, as Stephen was saying, bringing together kind of people, the business process, connecting records together. If you add on top of that the automation of the business process where it's important, and being able to send notifications, emails. I know some of these things sound basic, but that's an important part of keeping control of the business and making sure that people continue to focus on the important parts of what they do rather than the technology, trying to record something, trying to remember to send something. Whereas if we can take those pieces away from them and make them really, really reliable, that frees them to actually deal with customers, deal with the products that they sell or the business that they're in, rather than distracting them with technology and trying to remember things that they don't really need to, that we can take care of, but also then guide them down the proper pathway. So, the business processes are great, but digitization has helped, I think is helping particularly, and Zoho particularly, with small, medium-sized businesses where they can get access to technology that in the past would be unreachable. So, Zoho's made the fact that we can create blueprints or the business processes, map them out in software, really, really accessible for any business. And then add the digitization or the automation onto the back of that. It's brilliant.
Got it. Awesome. That's great to hear. So perfect way to put the definition of digitization or digital transformation. Now I want to come to this question, as you mentioned, blueprint. So the question that popped up in my mind is, if a customer comes to you, how do you go for it? How do you say, okay, in Zoho there are multiple products. There are many products in Zoho. How do you decide this product would fit this customer? How do you go about that?
I'll let Stephen answer that, but we actually start before that. So we don't look at products first.
Yes.
The first thing we ask is, why do you want to change your software? Assuming they've got some software and not just running on spreadsheets or manual books. And so why do you want to change your software, and what's painful in your life? What are the top 3 or 5 things that are causing you the most pain? Because they usually help us determine what to do, whether it's software or not. Sometimes you want to just change people, but very often it is software.
Yeah.
And that helps us decide, is this a CRM starting point? Is it a creator starting point? Is it all of it? Should we be talking to them about Zoho 1? But it is about, what's your pain points? Top 3, 5 things, no more than that. Because we've all got 50 things that were painful in the business, but there's 3 or 5 that are just really hurting. And that's where we start. And then we go to software, depending on the answer from that.
There will be something in the Zoho architecture that will solve a problem.
Yeah.
Their business problem. It doesn't matter what it is, because Zoho's product offering is so vast now. And if we don't have a Zoho product, we do. We've got Creator. So we've got an opportunity where we can go, there's either a piece of glue that we've got to make, to connect one of the apps to another, or bridge the, something that's not provided for in one of the standard apps. Or, maybe they've got some because some clients believe their businesses are so unique that they need some unique offering. It happens.
Yes.
In which case, Creator is brilliant for that because it gives us that opportunity. But the questions are almost before, rather than just throwing a piece of software at the problem. Let's try and understand the problem first so that we put the right piece of Zoho technology into their business, because we want them to stay with Zoho, because then they stay with us. Because we committed to the Zoho journey. So the best way we found to do that is to solve their pain points, as Stephen said, not just throw a piece
We're
of...
not trying to flog them software.
Yeah.
Got
We're
it.
trying to solve problems.
Got it. Awesome. So coming back to one more thing, as you said, like Creator is suitable for like everyone. Do you really feel like any industry, any use case or any problem we come around, would Creator be the ideal or the solution for, that particular industry? Or like, is it limited to specific industries alone?
I don't think it's limited at all. I think there's some other Zoho offerings that mean it's not limited, in our opinion. I'm not sure it would be Creator would necessarily be the ideal solution everywhere. I mean, I'll give you for instance. We have no intention of writing a books app. Why would you? Zoho have done a very good job with books, for example, CRM. Why would you write CRM? So we don't try and write solutions that exist in the Zoho infrastructure. But the reason why we think that the Zoho offering is applicable for anybody, from a banking institution, right down to a street reseller, is because of Zoho's commitment to some of the fundamentals. Privacy. I know in Europe, privacy is a big thing. It's not as much of a big thing in the rest of the world, but I think it'll get there. But Zoho's commitment to privacy far exceeds most other vendors in terms of what they're offering. Security is another challenge that all of us face. And the great thing with the Zoho offering is we don't have to concern ourselves with those. The login and the security around login and spam filtering and these challenges, when you're sitting either on your own, standalone platform or some other SaaS solution, these are challenges that hit us that you've got to solve. Whereas in the Zoho infrastructure, portal, it's available. In Creator, portal's marvelous. We don't have to worry about anything. We just sign up users. And we get the benefits of security and privacy and high speed in terms of the performance of the application and the database and all these other layers that ordinarily you'd be programming or trying to work out the solution for. We get all of that out the box with Creator. Why wouldn't that be applicable to any organization?
Got it.
Just to add to that, though, you could use Creator to write anything. You could write an accounting system in it. You could write a CRM system. You could write bespoke applications. But our starting point is, if they want CRM, let's start with Zoho's CRM. And then if that really doesn't suit, then we'd come back to Creator, because you can do anything. It's a blank sheet of paper, really. So it's applicable to any industry, any function, any solution. But we don't try to do that. So if somebody wants a bookings solution, we don't say, let's write it in Creator first. We go, can bookings do it? And sometimes it can't, because there's other characteristics to what they do. And then we'll go and write a specific bookings application within Creator. But we try and start with a off-the-shelf solution, because Zoho have done a good job.
Yeah.
There's some clever guys here and girls. Yeah. So we don't try to recreate all of that unless we have to.
Got it. Steven, I'll highlight one more question to you. How do the current employees adopt to the booming technology? Let it be low code itself. For example, you're implementing it for one of your customers. How do you think they are shifting from the legacy systems to the current technology? What's your take on that? Do they adapt it very quickly, or like you have to give them
I think it depends on each customer environment, really. So you've got a current customer who's a 60-year-old business, very, very stayed in their ways. And that takes more training, and it needs senior management buy-in. If the senior management are not completely committed in the process of and the project, it's going to be a struggle.
Yeah.
So you need to get the senior management buy-in, and we'd rather not start a project than implement one where the senior management are not bought into it. And then training. And sometimes you've got to do twice as much training in an environment like that, whereas you may have another business where they are very adept at change. Because this is all about change. It's not about software.
Yeah.
People don't like change naturally. I mean, maybe, different cultures are different. So India may be slightly different, but the UK is quite a staid economy. Has been there a long time. People don't like change. But I think that's replicated all over the world. So you've got to train, encourage, involve them in the project as much as possible. We had an implementation last year or the year before where one element of the project, they left a key employee out of it. We didn't know at the time. So when we went live, we were missing things. But we learned from that as well, to ask those questions. And we got everybody involved that needs to be involved. And that's key, really.
Yeah.
Training and buy-in.
I think another part of that is on top of that, is you need a commitment from the senior management team to stop the old. It's critical, because otherwise what happens is people, they see the new and they just think, oh, I've just got to add this onto my workload. So I've still got to keep doing, or they want the comfort of doing this. Yeah. And that cripples any implementation in our experience.
Have you ever had a challenge like that where the leaders are like, still like they want to continue with the legacy system, but they just want to, have one or two existing technologies over?
We haven't come across where they want to continue with the legacy, but we have had where the senior leader or leadership team have been disconnected. So they're almost abandoning the task to the team, and that is very difficult because there's nobody. So the business owner, for example, is not pushing the change through the business or going, you've got to stop spreadsheeting. A business process doesn't work if you still keep using the spreadsheet.
Like there's a popular saying, before you expect a change, be the change. So yeah.
For sure. And I'm saying that's good in our experience and for the type of businesses we deal with, it's got to start at the top. It just has to. So the person who's pushing the change into the business, if I can call it, or is asking for the change, the senior person, they've got to lead that. Stop doing the old. I'll only accept so for example, I'm not getting the report from Excel anymore. It's got to come from analytics. Why? Because then I know that we've been through the business process and the automations and everything else that gives us the result that we're looking for. So stop doing that. Start doing this. But unless they're a key part of making that change, the projects, we've seen some projects not fail, but take a long time to get traction because the team is struggling to let go of the old. Because change is, as Stephen said, change is hard. Nobody likes change. So they go, oh, I've got comfort here. But actually we need them in the new.
In this example Shul's talking about, we had a project where the owner, very good salesman, wasn't a techie guy. And he wanted this project to be a whizzy project, all automations and everything, but he didn't want to be involved really. And once we went live, he still wanted his spreadsheets as the management tool for him. Ultimately, we lost the client. He stayed 3 years and then left because he really didn't push hard enough in his own business.
It's one of the only clients we've ever lost.
Yeah,
and that's, I'm saying, that's where we learned a lesson, was if we're going to put technology into a business or solve their problems, because it's not really the tech, it's the solution. We have to have people along with it. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
So the change starts with us first.
With people.
Got it. Done.
Yeah.
So coming back to one thing, when you said like be the change, we've seen one of your experience in the recent times where you built an app for one of the competitions, Zoho Creator Partner Hackathon, where your app was highlighted as one of the best apps in the UK region. So any inputs on that? Like though you come from a finance, though you come from a finance background, but then how did your developer journey start? Like, was it tough for you to adapt to it?
so some of what I said earlier, it is difficult. It's not difficult. It's different.
Challenging?
It's challenging.
Yeah. Okay.
So when you've come from, I mean, I was a Visual Basic Python developer.
Oh, okay.
So I developed quite a lot of systems in Python. You've got a lot more flexibility because you can because the architecture is much looser. With that looseness comes challenges. So you don't have the building blocks that you get from Creator. So I'm not saying it's a trade-off, but you're getting a lot of the blocks that you need to build a good solution. In fact, a better solution that I could ever build myself with Python, in my opinion, we get the building blocks from Zoho in Creator. So to answer your question, the bit for me that made that forced me, in a sense, to change because it's a mindset change, isn't it? You've got to apply some different thinking to solve some of because it's still a technology problem that you're trying to solve a business problem with technology. You're just using a different tool, and the tool has some rules, and the rules are different to the tools that you're used to. So the way that I found that was the best way to develop in Creator was to stop thinking that I could write this in Python or in Visual Basic or SQL or anything else. It was just stop thinking like that. I have to solve this problem using the building blocks that Creator gives us, whether it's a form or an automation of some sort, or Deluge. I have to solve it. So then work out how we solve it, not can we solve it. It's solvable. We've just got to work out how. And that really focused my attention on, right, let's get products. Let's solve this challenge which we think we've identified, which is we want an order management solution for manufacturing that solve some of the challenges that, for example, Zoho Inventory doesn't provide, or that's not around in books. So we've kind of built some glue, if I can call it that, because we still integrate with books. We integrate with CRM because those are important tools, and why rebuild them? But there's a whole piece around, manufacturing and works orders and how we control stock, or inventory. That's different to what's sitting in Zoho Inventory. And in fact, Zoho Inventory doesn't do some of the things that we do, but it was just solve those by focusing on the problem, not questioning the tool. The tool works.
Got it. As you mentioned, Deluge, which is a programming language in Zoho Creator, how do you think it is different from other programming languages?
I'm not sure I'm good at answering that type of question, simply because I haven't really studied many programming languages in terms of the background and whether this has got a garbage
Python?
collector or not, or those sorts of things. But I think the thing with Deluge, which I've appreciated, maybe if I come at it from that perspective, is it's a little bit like, okay, so I've got a whole list of pre-built functions that can pretty much do anything. I know there's some limitations, but then I can write the difference. But the great thing is I can just try it. So I write a line of code. The editor tells me the syntax is wrong. You've forgotten your semicolon or whatever it is. You fix that. And then you just run, test, execute, and look at the results. And then have another go if it's not the answer. Comparing it to Python or some of these other languages, I haven't studied enough to do that and to give you that sort of comparison. I just think it's quite an easy language. If you're familiar with scripting of some nature like Python or JavaScript or one of these sort of languages, they are Deluge is easy to get your head around, and it works well.
Got it.
He's speaking for himself, yeah.
Yeah.
So Sean, Steven, have you worked on Creator? Did you build something when you
Yeah,
started?
I have. So my son is a tennis player,
Oh,
a professional tennis player. And I built a little app so that him and his team can be updated. So if he's gone to, say, the French Open and the next tournament is Wimbledon, and we booked the flights and the hotels and everything from, me and my wife will handle that. It will update the app so that when they look at the app on their phones, they know what's happening next. So I can do things like that. So you can build small apps, but as soon as I need a bit of code doing, I ask Sean over here. So he helps me with the automations and things. But, it allows you to build some basic apps without any coding knowledge, which is fantastic, really. And also, where we operate in our business is, I'm not saying I come up with all the ideas, but sometimes I'll have an idea for something and I'll go and start building the app and then go, can we make this work and do all the automations? So you just get your thinking down on the app itself. I mean, usually what happens is Sean will start again because he's got a better way and a quicker way of doing it. But it's great for just getting things going. So you can build basic apps without any coding.
Stephen's underselling himself as well.
No.
He can do more than basic.
okay.
But, because Creators is good, it's a great tool. It allows non-developers to build actually some really powerful apps and to do some really clever things. It's sometimes you need a little bit of deluge to either do something more efficiently or to do something that's
Just to get
maybe
that
out
zing.
of the ordinary.
You want that zing.
I'm more like Steven. Like I'm a marketing person. I come from a non-developer background, but when I do basic stuff, I need something advanced. I go to a friend like Sean. I get it done.
Exactly. Yeah.
So Stephen does the same, but I'm saying he's underselling himself. He's built some, and had some great ideas and built some clever things in Creator because the tools allowed him to do that. Yes, then when he wants some, whiz, pop and bang, then he comes and we add some deluge to it.
Awesome.
And it works.
So you all, like, the question is to both of you. You folks would have built like a different solution for different customers. Anything which you found like it's very challenging for you, but when you finished it off, you are like, okay, this is incredible. Something interesting, something your personal, customer story which you want to share here. I feel like you guys are like thinking, which one should I say?
I think if I took one customer story, so the same customer we were talking about where...
The Salesforce guy? Like
yeah, we started a project with someone else and the technology didn't do it was just too complicated. They'd built some widgets in CRM and we didn't even understand the widgets and they were accounting functions, and we were like, this is just...
It's too much.
It's too much. It's too complicated. And in a short space, we're talking a very short space, a few months, we built a complex function, complex in terms of its function app, but a really easy to use, feature-rich app for the client in Creator. It was great when we released the app. We actually had the accountant came to us that we were talking with him, and he, probably a year later, about this order management app that we'd written and deployed into their business, and he was saying it's made such a big impact in terms of their business that he can work less hours in the business. We're talking days less because of the impact that the app has had in terms of the team and the control and those sorts of things. That is great. I'm saying that's a solution, isn't it? You've given a client something that's taken away the pain.
And he's now working on analyzing information in other departments of the business, like purchasing and other areas, rather than running an accounting function, because he's freed up so much time. And he's able to write reports, so he's now taking those reports to the purchasing director to say, look, you're overstocked in this area, whereas previously he was just accounting, finance focused. So it's freed up, and that's fantastic then.
Yeah.
Got it. Awesome.
That's great feedback.
Yeah, got it. So that's really one great use case. So apart from business and technology, what do you guys love to do when you're free? During your free time, what do you guys love to do the most?
Travel to India.
How was your experience here?
It's been brilliant. It's my first time. So it's been fantastic. apart from being locked in the hotel with the cyclone.
Yeah.
But it's been great.
How about Sean?
I like to play some sport, so I still play squash and things like that. I shear sheep, which we talked about a little bit earlier, sort of before the interview. It's, those are some things. I like to walk. So my wife and I, we like to walk in the mountains and things. So we do quite a lot of that. I actually like to be outdoors. So it's hard in the UK because it's so cold. So I love coming to India, especially to places like Chennai, because it reminds me of where we grew up in South Africa, because it was also warm. We have a very warm climate. Chennai is warm. So I like the warmth and the humid. So that sort of climate suits me better, because it means we can be outdoors, and I like being outdoors. So
great. So nothing makes us feel like our own city. So yeah.
So and the other thing I do is I like motorbikes.
Oh
yeah. So I'm just having a bike built to ride a 1,000-mile expedition through Morocco next year, through the desert. Yeah, so that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
So of course there's bikes everywhere here.
Oh, that's really quite interesting. I when I first met Stephen, I was like, okay, he's gonna be the silent guy, but no. There are a couple of things which he loves and which he is
I'm quite adventurous.
more sporty about.
I'm quite
adventurous. Exactly. Okay, coming to last couple of questions. How do you think AI is impacting the current technology? Like, do you think it's gonna affect with the way we are already running the existing systems, or like it's gonna be the same? What do you think about it?
So I think there's some thoughts around AI as well, because there are people who are terrified of AI, petrified. And I think that's largely because they don't understand the opportunity, we think, the opportunity that AI gives us. So when people don't understand, the natural thing, I think, for lots of people is fear. And so, of course, we get all this crazy thing, AI is going to take over the world. And maybe that's a future, I don't know, many years from now, where AI could ever threaten us like that. Maybe. I'm not convinced, but maybe. But I think the opportunity for AI in terms of how it's going to change products and business it's about insights, and you're getting the engine to use data and be able to, because that's one of our challenges nowadays, isn't it? Is we've got so much data, we don't quite know what to do with it all. And so analytics is great where we can order the data in some way or form, but of course that's quite a manual process where someone's got to think about that. So I think that's where we're going to see lots of the AI opportunity, is in taking large amounts of data. And I think Zoho's approach to it, I like, which is how do we take the data, but apply it in a business context to my data. So take some basic rules, if I can call it, around data and structure, put in my data, and then get insights into my data as a customer. That, for me, I think is going to make a big difference in terms of what and how we use the technology, because insights help us understand what's going on in our businesses, so where we need to focus our attention in terms of solutions.
Rather than seeing it as a threat, look
at
it as an opportunity.
For sure. I mean, I think AI is a wonderful opportunity.
There's a lot more to explore. Great.
Big time.
I think repetition in tasks as well. So it doesn't matter how sophisticated you put a piece of software in front of users, they still tend to do a lot of repetition themselves. Even simple thing like raising purchase orders. Right now we can recommend to somebody what they should buy based on inventory levels and things, but they still need to go and execute and raise manual purchase orders, etc. I suspect AI is going to be, will be built into software somewhere where it will be going, I'm going to raise, just tell me which ones and I'll raise them all for you and they'll go off. So it doesn't mean the purchasing function's going away, but it will take some of that menial task stuff away for them and benefit the user.
Yeah, and I think part of the
simple example, but that'll help tremendously.
Got it.
I think again, if we don't look at it as a threat, it means because the threat is always we think we are going to be out of something. It's going to take something away from us. And I think what Stephen raises is an important point. It is going to take something away from us. It's going to take away the mundane, boring, repetitive tasks and difficult components like analyzing large amounts of data. That's a very repetitive thing that you've got to do to get to the results. It takes that away from us and actually gives us time, frees up time for us to actually use what AI can't do, which is interpret results, deal with people, focus on how we develop relationships, contracts, those sorts of things. AI is not going to do that for us. Not in the next 10, 20 years, I don't think. So what that does is, as I say, it is taking away some things. It's taking away the mundane, boring tasks that we don't do well anyway, most of us. And it gives us the opportunity to then actually engage with people and deal with the things that we can do well, that AI can't do well.
Got it. Awesome. So coming back to one thing, if you both had, a thing like you could go back to your past and change one thing, what would that be? First Sean, then Stephen.
I don't think I would change anything. I think, life is about experiences and we carry scars because, you bump into something and you get a wound. But that shows experience, the wrinkles and the lines and the gray hair shows a little bit of experience, and so I don't look back on things that we've done and go, I regret doing that. I think we've got to where we are today because of the journey that we've taken and the things that we've done before. And it's a little bit like developing an app. Sometimes when you're looking at we build something, we make it better, we're in version 5, version 6, version 9, whatever it is, version 7. Sometimes you sit and you think, why didn't we think of this at version 1? I think life's a little bit like that. Sometimes we sit back and we go, why didn't we just get here? We can't get here. You've got to go, 1,
Cover
2,
all those
3,
points.
4. Why? Because you're learning things. You're learning how to deal with people. You're getting experiences. That's an important part of life. It's the journey. So that's why I say looking back at regret, I think is not something that I do. It's just that is the journey.
You believe like the mistakes are also counted.
Mistakes are, but it's not really a mistake. It's an experience. A mistake, it's an experience, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, mistakes maybe, but I suppose it's like, is there such a thing as failure?
I didn't get a right word, but yeah.
It's an experience. Can we learn from it? Yes. I think it's only a mistake or a failure if you give up. A mistake if you don't learn from it. It's like, okay, I've had this experience. What have I learned? What can I do better? Or what can I change that takes me to a new experience? So if I'm sitting here thinking I'm not in the place I want to be, where do I want to be? And what do I need to do to get there? That's all. Not I'll change something, looking back. So that's my perspective.
Got it.
No, I would have changed everything. No.
Meeting Sean?
Yeah. No.
Maybe.
No, so I think what I would have liked is to start FlowsEasy and the Zoho journey earlier in my life. That would be quite good because we're really enjoying what we're doing.
That's true.
So that would have been quite good. We were out last night with some Zoho guys and other partners. One of the Zoho guys said, do you mind me asking how old you are? And I said, 55. He said, you started this business when you were 51. And I said, yes. He said, we wouldn't do that in India. Very rarely. We're thinking about retiring. And I don't feel 55, but yeah, I would have preferred to have started when I was 30. But not that I regret anything else I've done, but the journey that we're going along with Zoho now is fantastic. So hopefully there's many more years. But that would be I would have loved to start it a bit earlier.
Got it. Awesome. Thanks for that insightful answer, Stephen. One piece of advice you want to give to the upcoming people, especially you said right, like if people in India think about retiring at this age, but where you started a FlowsEasy organization. So I just want to know, like, one piece of advice you love to give someone who is ready to change that mindset. Let's start a business, but might have a bit of challenges. Let it be personal or let it be developing business. So what is that one piece of advice you like to tell them?
Well, I think you need to get up every morning with something to go at. So and as soon as you stop working, you need to pick something else, or you're going to die quite quickly. I think even if you don't physically die, you'll die inside as a person. So you need a challenge. I don't know if you follow Warren Buffett and Charlie Munger, Berkshire Hathaway. These chaps are still working in their 90s. Of course, Charlie Munger died last week or the week before. But at 90 years old, they're still running huge corporations. And it's because they keep going. If you retire at 55, I'm a young man. If you retire at 55, you're going to go downhill quite quickly, I think. So you have to have something to go at. You have to have an aim, don't you? And we're doing 9-hour, 10-hour days, sometimes longer. It's a full-time, we're full on. So I think you have to have something to go at for sure.
Yeah, I think from my side, it would be, I tell my children this, find the thing where hours become minutes.
Oh, that's nice.
Do that. Don't worry about the money.
This is so much philosophy.
But that's the thing. So have fun at it. And that's what I find when I'm having fun, I can be spending hours doing something and it's like minutes.
That's true.
Both the thinking go parallel, you know that, right? Yeah. Just that the age is but yeah.
Yeah. So, but I'm saying, but that for me is the thing that I think, so if someone's starting out or they're looking to change, that for me would be the thing to do. Find something where hours become minutes because you're passionate about doing that thing. Do that. Because you'll get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And like Stephen says, you'll have a reason to get up in the morning. I'm not saying there aren't challenges along the way. It doesn't mean that everything is easy. Because if it was easy, it's not worth it, in my view. But you need to be doing something that you really love, because there are going to be challenges. Life is a challenge. But when you're doing something that you don't love or that you don't enjoy, everything is hard. Everything is difficult. You don't want to do anything. So find the thing that you get enjoyment out of. Do that.
I think a great test of that is if you can go into, say, a Starbucks or a busy train and you sit down and you work on your laptop on something. It doesn't have to be, so it could be anything. And if you don't notice anybody and you can work with all the noise going on, then you're probably doing the right thing because you're in the zone.
Yeah.
So that's a good test.
Got it.
Practical test.
Awesome. So it's so good to hear about your journey, Stephen. But like how you said, you had a conversation with one of our employees. He said, like, usually people at this age retire. I want to ask you, why didn't you choose the retirement stage? Like, why didn't you go off? Though there would be something that would have popped up in your mind. But I want to know, like, what made you, start FlowsEasy at 51?
Well, I'm only 35 years old. And the last 4 years has made me go this grey, obviously.
And I'm younger than him.
Oh, so how old are you? 34?
No, I'm 32. He's 34.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
He said 35.
Did he?
Something like that. No, so we started FlowsEasy when I was 51 at the time, and Sean would have been 4 years younger than that. But yeah, I've got no intention of retiring anytime soon. And here we are at 55, and we were out last night with a couple of the Zoho guys, a couple of the partners. And one of the Zoho chaps asked me, would I mind if he asked how old I was? And I said, no, I'm 55. And he said, you started this, 4 years ago. And he said, most people in India would be thinking about retiring at this age. But no, I'm, feeling young. and enjoying it and getting on with it. And Charlie Munger's just died at 99 years old, so I've got a long time to go still.
I haven't. I've spent 4 years working with him.
Yeah.
I'm ready to retire.
What's,
I'm younger than him.
what's your age? What are you like looking forward to with FlowsEasy?
I think the same as Stephen. I think we'd like to see this going forward for a long time.
But we won't be coding. He won't be coding at 99 years old, I'm sure.
Well,
In a wheelchair?
He'll stop before.
in a wheelchair. Yeah, maybe.
Okay, great. So coming to the final question, if you guys, there is a genie in front of you right now, and you could ask for a wish, which you wanna get it done for the future. What would it be? First, Sean, then Stephen.
Why do you keep coming to me first? He's the clever guy with
We are both same parallel. Like
Stick
how I
with
said
him.
it.
I don't have an answer. He's the one that's got answers.
Like Stephen
He's
is being
got
very
all
sweet
answers.
with me.
He's
Stephen
been
has
sweet.
Meet me more often.
Meet you more often. Yeah, of course.
More podcast.
Can Zoho bring us to India every 6 months?
I hope so.
Yeah. I think I would like to see us solve lots of business challenges for our customers using Zoho technology. We are committed to the Zoho technology. We believe in Zoho. We run everything Zoho in our business. And the reason for that is because we think it's great technology. And we think we've got great opportunities to provide those solutions for customers. So I would like to do that for the next 10, 20 years, is build great solutions for people, solving their pain points, meeting some great people along the way, having great experiences, coming to India plenty of times, seeing you loads of times. You'll have to keep inviting us back to India.
Hopefully, I do.
And we'll keep coming.
We'll keep doing the hackathon next
Because
week.
that's it. We'll keep winning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the spirit.
Sean's secret wish really is that he could have a bunch of coders sitting in front of him, taking the pain away. That's what he really wishes. I wish for that as well, actually.
Yeah, I just want to be on the beach.
Oh, sit in the beach and code?
Yeah, why not?
What about Stephen?
Yeah, I don't know what I wish for, really. Just a happy, healthy life. And in terms of FlowsEasy and Zoho, we want to build this into a much bigger business and employ a bunch of coders because he's taking pain as the only coder in our business at the moment. But
I had no grey hair when we started 4 years ago. I've got lots of grey hair. That's how much.
It doesn't look like that.
that's underneath.
It's underneath.
Got it.
He's given me lots of pain.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. No, we've
that's-
had a good journey.
Yeah,
together.
we work well together, actually.
Yeah.
So, we find clients, we try and come up with solutions, and then I go, can you go in the dark room and code it all? And
He keeps finding the clients and throwing the
have it
problems.
finished. So
Yeah.
that's the way it works.
So the client comes to Stephen throws it to
Yeah. He's like, you solve.
Yeah.
You spend all the hours in the dark room.
It's easy business.
Got it. One final question to end the podcast. What's the goal for FlowsEasy in the coming years?
I think we want to build a business which is has good recurring revenue because they are, I know SaaS is the sort of common, well-known name, but you want a recurring revenue business. I don't think we want to hire 100 coders, but I think we'd like to have a room of them that are helping us. And not so we can have an easy life, because as I said earlier, we love working. I love working.
Yeah.
I think you need to get up in the morning and keep doing that. But so we'll build FlowsEasy into a nice, sustainable business. Our aim at the moment is not to flog it off. I'm sure at some point we should, or pass it down to children or something. But we want to build a good, sustainable business where we're doing good work as well. So I'm not interested in, we're not interested in just selling stuff for the sake of it, just so we can have another license tick against our name. I'm not interested in that at all, really. But if you can solve problems and make clients happy, we'll be happy. So,
awesome. And hire more number of coders
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah, we need some depth to our and some opportunities there. We see that.
Yeah.
But we don't have an ego that's, we need a massive organization and hundreds of coders. And
Yeah, there's
what
no
would I
ego
do
about
then?
that at all.
What would I do?
Yeah.
No, but we
You
enjoy
sit on
it.
a beach and relax.
Yeah. But So we're both passionate about FlowsEasy, but actually we're both doing something that we really enjoy. And that, as we said earlier, that's part of life is doing something that you really enjoy, and we are enjoying it. So then why would we stop doing that? If you're really enjoying something, why would you change it?
Listening to your goals, do you folks really have a retirement plan? No, I don't think so.
No.
My wife tells me that I will probably never retire. I think she's right.
But
She'd like us to, but
the beauty about Zoho and what we do is you can work from anywhere in the world at any time of the day. So my son, as a tennis player, is lucky enough to have a place in the Bahamas. So I can actually go and sit in front of the beach, slightly off the beach in the air conditioning, and you can work. And Sean can go to South Africa and see his family and carry on doing the same thing. So that's the beauty of what we do now.
for sure.
I think if you worked in a manufacturing environment where you had to go in and do that skill every day, there's limitations clearly. But what we do now is brilliant. So
Awesome.
we'll keep doing it.
Awesome. Got it. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Sean and Steven, for your time. It was really a fun, and I'm taking a lot of learnings with me. I hope our audience do too. It was really great to hang out with these young folks. They're younger than me. Their vision, their goals, and their age too. Sometimes I get.
You've got lots of grey, eh?
Yeah, I myself got some few grey hairs. Yeah. But yeah, it was a pleasure to have you folks. Thank you so much for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much. It's
great to be here.
Thank you.